Good morning, students. Today we will see our civics third chapter, Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. In that, we will study appointment of Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, formation of Council of Ministers, their tenure, functions, policy making, administrative, legislative, and financial emergency of the state, position and powers of the Prime Minister, collective and individual responsibility of the members of the cabinet. Then distinction between council of ministers and cabinet. At first we will see about the prime minister. The constitution of India is providing a council of ministers within prime minister at the head to advise and suggest to the president. Even president acts as per the advice of prime minister and the council of ministers. Before exercising or before completing president his functions, asking or discussing with the ministers, the president may require the council of ministers to reconsider their advice. Means he can ask their advice, but he shall act in accordance with the advice tendered after such reconsideration. Whatever advice should be given to the president by the council of ministers, he should have to follow that, because as per we know that the Lok Sabha members are directly elected, means their opinion or their suggestion is called as per the people's suggestion or opinion. We are following the parliamentary form of government. That's why our president is only a nominal head of the state, and the council of ministers are headed by the prime minister. Prime minister is the most powerful within council of ministers in the Indian policy. Then we have to see the appointment of prime minister. Prime minister is appointed by the president. The president cannot act arbitrarily in this appointment. Means the political party who is getting the highest votes, that party's head is selected as per the prime minister on the suggestion of the party members. According to convention, the president invites the leader of the majority party or group in the Lok Sabha to form the government. Then that is the responsibility of the president to select the proper member, or to select the member who belongs to the majority party. The members of the majority party or the group elect their leader to be appointed as the prime minister. That is in the hand of the political party members, to whom they are going to appoint as per their prime minister or their leader. The president then appoints him as the prime minister. When no single political party secures an absolute majority in the Lok Sabha, the president may have some option in the appointment. If there will be not a specific party who is getting the majority votes, then there will be some options for the president, for appointment of the president. But the president has to appoint that person who can prove that he has the support of some smaller groups or parties. Then the president has to appoint that person who can prove that he has the support of some smaller groups or parties in order to have majority in the house. If there are two political parties, those who are having equal votes, then the party leader or the party members, those who are proving that they are having other political parties support, then president's responsibility is to choose or appoint that person as per the prime minister. Then we have to see the Council of Ministers. Article 75 of the Constitution states that the Prime Minister shall be appointed by the President and the other ministers shall be appointed by the President on the advice of the Prime Minister. Means Prime Minister is appointed by the President on the suggestion or as per the leader of that political party, and then other Council of Ministers should be appointed by the President on the advice of Prime Minister. By convention, the President has to accept the choice of the Prime Minister in the matter of appointment and dismissal of ministers. Here, the main role is played by Prime Minister. Normally, only the members of Parliament are appointed as ministers. Only Parliament members should be appointed as per the Council of Ministers. If a non-member is appointed as minister, he must be elected or nominated to the Parliament within 6 months from the date of his appointment. Then that specific person should be appointed or nominated within 6 months as per the member of Parliament. Failing this, if that specific person cannot complete that commitment or that process, then he should have to resign from the post of a minister. He has to resign from his post. Before 1979, the Constitution did not refer to the word cabinet. Previously, it was not used. It referred only to the Council of Ministers. The 44th Amendment Act provides that the President shall not issue a proclamation of national emergency unless the decision of the Union Cabinet, means that is the Prime Minister and other ministers of Cabinet rank, if they has been communicated to him in writing. After this, the distinction between the Cabinet and the Council of Ministers has become evident. Means previously it was not used, it was used as per the Council of Ministers, and after the correction or after the 44th Amendment, they started to use that word as per the Cabinet. Now we will see the Council of Ministers first point, that is the Cabinet Ministers. Cabinet Ministers are the most important members of the Council of Ministers. They are holding important portfolios like Home Minister, Defense Minister, Finance Ministers, External Affairs Ministers, Railway Ministers. In that way they are completing their work. A Cabinet Minister is in charge of a ministry and sometimes of more than one ministry. Only Cabinet Ministers have a right to attend meetings of the Cabinet. They together determine the policy and program of the government. The second is Ministers of State. Ministers of State are the second category of ministers. They may or not may hold an independent charge of any portfolio. The Prime Minister may or may not consult them. They do not participate in the cabinet meeting. Means that is not their work to participate in the cabinet meetings, but they may be invited to attend meetings when matters concerning their departments are being considered. Whenever whatever departments are holding by them, that whenever that department's matters are discussing, at the time they should be invited. Then third one is the Deputy Ministers. They are in third category of the ministers who assist the Cabinet Ministers and Council of Ministers. They are junior ministers and are placed under senior ministers whom they have to assist. They take no part in cabinet deliberations. The Council of Ministers comprise the Prime Minister and a number of other ministers appointed by the President on the advice of the Prime Minister. Means whenever Prime Minister suggesting them, at that time they should participate. Our Constitution of India does not specify either the number of the members of the Council of Ministers or classify the members of the council into different ranks. Means that is not mentioned in the Constitution, but whenever the 91st Amendment Act in 2003 was done, by that it has put a ceiling on the size of the Council of Ministers at the center and in the states to 15% of the strength of the Lok Sabha and the state legislatures. Means that is sealed by the 91st Amendment. In the case of smaller states, the maximum number of ministers allowed is 12. Means in that we can understand that 12 members are fixed. This step was taken to check defections from one party to another and also to curb the government expenditure on account of jumbo size of ministers. Previously, a lot of ministers were working in same department. That's why that process or that fixing, that sealing was just done. Then we have to see the cabinet. Cabinet is composed of a small but important body of senior leaders of the party who are included in the Council of Ministers. They hold important portfolios and decide major policies of the government. They being trusted men of the Prime Minister, that they, in short, Prime Ministers depend on their decisions, form the nucleus of the administration. In fact, the cabinet is the pivot around, means important base which the whole administration revolves. Means what, they are working like the sun wherever all the planets are moving. You know that about the solar system. In that solar system, what we can see, sun is in the middle and other planets are moving around the sun. Same way cabinet is working. Cabinet takes important decisions. Such decisions are communicated to the other ministers and they have to follow the decisions even though they might not have in a party to such decisions. Means what, whatever decisions are taken by the cabinet, others should have to follow and obey that thing. Then we have to see the appointment of the cabinet. The Prime Minister selects his senior and trustworthy colleagues and advises the President to appoint them as cabinet ministers. The President then appoints them as ministers as per the advice of the Prime Minister. Means what, they are appointed as per the suggestion or advice of the Prime Minister. Now we have to see the term of office. The ministers hold office during the pleasure of the President. Pleasure means whenever President is thinking, up to that time that ministers can hold their office. But the President has little power even in this regard, because but President doesn't have that much powers, because all basically most powers are in the hands of Prime Minister regarding to the Council of Ministers. Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers are directly responsible to the Lok Sabha and can remain in office so long as the enjoyments they can complete their tenure timing, that is of 5 years. Together they should have to work as per the suggestion of Prime Minister, because what, directly they are responsible to the Lok Sabha. In the Lok Sabha, if the Lok Sabha passes a vote of no confidence against the Council of Ministers, then they should have to resign collectively. Means all the members collectively resign from their post. Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. Before a minister enters upon his office, the President administers him oath before entering towards in their office, they should have to take oath in front of president. In that oath, in that oath of office, the minister swears to what? Bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India. Means that basically that minister should be faithful and loyal to the Constitution of our country. Then he should uphold a sovereignty and integrity of India. He every time protect the integrity and sovereignty of our country, faithfully and consciously discharge his duties without fear or favor action or ill will. Means what? Faithfully keeping faith of people in his mind and keeping proper sense, that is called as consciously. In Marathi, that consciously called as per the Sat Sat Vivek Buddhi, means the mind which is always true for others, which is having proper things in their mind for others, that is mentioned as per that. So he should discharge his duties, is complete his work without fear of any person, without any burden of any person, and any frighten about any bad thing or by any ill will. Means or every time he will be on the right path. That oath he is taking of office. In the oath of secrecy, the minister swears not to directly or indirectly communicate or reveal to anyone. Means what? Secrecy oath also he is taking. Any matter which is brought for consideration except may be required for the discharge of his duties. Means what? Whatever work is allotted to him by the Prime Minister, he should complete it with the secrecy. Every minister must be a member of either House of the Parliament or must become one within 6 months. All the Council of Ministers should be elected in the Parliament. If they are not, they should have to complete the qualifications within 6 months. Otherwise, he will have to vacate his office. The salaries and allowances of ministers are such as Parliament from time to time by law determines. Means what? That are every time changes, but that are also discussed by the Parliament. The remaining part like powers and functions and all we will see in our next chapter.